This is my first ever blind playthrough of The Roottrees Are Dead. Without further ado, let's do it. Oh Christ, remember loading bars like that. It's like when you had old dial-up internet, you know, the modem sound. Oh! Now that's a flashback. Such a throwback. Yeah, I know, right? December 6th, 1998.
The plane that crashed last night just outside of Pittsburgh is now known to have been the private jet of the Roottrees Corporation. Local aviation authorities have speculated, based on the pilot's final communication, that the winter storm and heavy winds played a significant role in the crash. On board were multiple family members, including corporate president Carl Roottrees and his daughters, the Roottrees sisters, best known for their fashion lines and modeling careers.
I missed a bit there.
There were no survivors. Again, for those of you just joining us, the Roottrees are dead.
So I'm not 100% sure, guys, but I think the Roottrees are dead.
I know it's late, but I'm guessing you've seen the news. In addition to dealing with the grief, the Roottrees Company's lawyers are scrambling. Everything's about to change. Anyone proven to be a blood relative is about to get much richer. I'm here to ensure everyone is accounted for.
Okay, so it's basically we want to make sure that there's
I've
no
heard you're an
leeches.
expert at sorting out complicated family trees. A genealogy genie, as it were.
I mean, I've been called a lot of things, you know. Why not a genealogy genie?
I'm going to give you a quick test.
Oh, Christ, okay.
Pass, and I can promise you the job of a lifetime.
Complete the family tree of the Roottrees sisters. Okay. Siblings are in birth, oldest to youngest. Okay. Oldest is on the left, and youngest is on the right. Okay. Okay. Examine my evidence, search the internet for clues, fill in the names, fill in the occupations, fill in the photos. Okay. Right, so... Okay, we can move around. We can zoom out. Good. Can I... How do I... Is there a way back from this? Or is this just how we do it? Oh, okay. And I can select everything. Okay, we've got a duck! Right. Now, that, for the record, okay, is an actual term that's done, and it's an actual thing that's done in offices, IT offices, to have a duck on your computer. The reason for it is if you're coding and you have a problem that you can't figure out, you talk to the duck. And just by talking it out, your brain can sometimes work things out. And it's a thing that's, I've got one. Riot Girl, okay. The Notorious Mountjoys, okay. Okay. We've got a radio. We've got a teddy bear. Okay. Oh, I'm digging the smooth jazz. Okay, so examine my evidence. So is this evidence here? Oh, okay. Hello. The person who hired you gave you this photo with the note attached. This was taken during the shoot for the Roottrees sisters Got Milk ad. I've tracked down a test photo from before they painted the fake mustaches on, which I thought would be more appropriate in the circumstances. The ad's copy reads, "You might recognise our faces from the magazine you're reading, or you might recognise our name from the candy bar you're eating. Being a Roottrees is a full-time job, but so is growing up. That's why the calcium found in milk is so important. Plus, you can't make chocolate without it." Okay, so that tells me then that they are models. So, do we have occupation list? Ah, we do have a list of occupations. Okay, so is modeling one? Model, okay. So are they all models? Okay. Right, that makes sense to me. One of them's married as well. That's interesting to know. So I've looked at the evidence, searched the... Oh my god! Holy shite. Okay. Wow. Welcome to the Information Superhighway. Thanks for purchasing a new Cashew PC. Your PC is equipped with a 56K modem, which is fast enough to access any site on the World Wide Web, even those with high resolution images. If you find anything interesting, be sure to print it out with your included high-end color laser printer or burn a music CD to listen later. If you want to revisit a search result, be sure to use Netscape's Explorer's new history feature. Happy surfing, and remember, Cashew's PCs are delicious. Cashew's PCs are inedible. Do not try and eat your computer. Okay, let's go to the internet then. Oh my god, that is a... That just sent shivers down my spine. Spider search. Is this just our search, is it? So can I just type into here? Oh, I can. Oh my fucking god, yeah, I know. Okay, so I'm guessing this is their version of Google. Pro tip, you can create notes quickly by highlighting text with your mouse. Sorry, this text can't be highlighted. Try it on a search result instead. Okay, so... Roottrees Sisters. Right? Oh, here we go. There are a lot of obituaries that focus on the Roottrees sisters' modelling careers. So we're right, they are models. Okay, that's good. You also come across an unofficial Roottree fan site, seemingly created by a teenager. It's neon pink with purple text and hard to read until you highlight the words. The young webmaster writes, Raina is the most famous because she's the oldest and got married to TMS. But Riley's the smart one. Rose is a middle child like me. Well, that gives us... Can I just... Hold on. So, this must be Raina. How does Raina Roottree? Does this stay up? Oh, it does. Okay, good. So, Rose is the middle child, which makes Riley the youngest. Okay. So, Riley in here. Roottree. Where's Riley? Riley. And what was it? Was it Rose was the middle one? Rose is the middle child. Okay. That's fine. Huh. Rose isn't an option. I wonder if that's a pseudonym. You might think they are rich just because they are models, but their dad is also president of the candy company, and their mum Brenda is a fashion designer. Okay, that's worth. It's good to know that their mum was a fashion designer. So let's take a note of that. Mom is fashion lady. Okay. And their dad was the company, the thingy, we know that. They do branding, they do modelling for her brand Root. Okay, Root. Okay. I eat Roottree candy all the time. My favourites are maple crisps. Maple crisps. Sounds nice. And try to dress in plaid Root clothes like Riley does in most of the posters. Someday I want to get my ears pierced like Rose. The website's author continues to talk about her own life and what she likes about Root's fashion lines, but none of it seems relevant. So Rose has got earrings. So that's Rose. Oh, what have I done? Oh, is that how I get the pictures? Oh, okay, that's not really told much, but okay. So you have to click on them to get, okay. So who's married then? Can't see. That's the right hand anyway. Left. Oh, there you go. That's a wedding ring. So that must be the oldest. So if I click on that, yeah, she must be Raina Roottree. Who had their ears pierced? Rose. So this is Rose. Or whatever her name is. Which makes the last one have to be Riley. Right? That checks out to me. We only just don't know her name. So we need to figure out who Rose is. And she got married to somebody called... Was it TMS? TMS. Can I just do that? Oh, nice. TMS is commonly abbreviation for the 90s teen heartthrob Tommy Mark Sheridan, and his first role as Thomas Sheridan was on a soap opera called Time Marches Onwards. He skyrocketed to popularity after his starring role in the sitcom Brother Trouble. Since the end of Brother Trouble, he has often been on the cover of tabloids for his supposed drug use, and most recently his relationship with Raina Roottree. After a short engagement, they were married in 1997 when she was only 19 and he was 23. Okay, so Tommy Mark Sheridan. Mark. Wait, there you go, Thomas Sheridan. It must be him. Sweet. Nice. Okay. Now we just need to figure out what her name is. So let's go back. Riley Roottree. Doesn't say anything. What happens if I search for root? Oh, okay. Aha. Root, the period is part of the name, is a clothing company. They make clothes for children from toddlers to teenagers. Although the website is down, likely due to increased web traffic, you find countless retail sites attempting to advertise their clothes toward the target market. One of them has this to say: "You've spied the Roottrees sisters looking hella fly on catalogs, magazines and posters. Now you too can be like Riley, Rose or Raina." You also come across a website from a collector of clothing catalogs. Apparently Root has released two categories per year every year since 1984, and Raina appeared in almost all of them. There is only one that the webmaster considers a collectible enough item though. It seems that Brenda Roottree and the Roottree sisters' mother and Root's head designer appeared on one cover holding her daughter Rose in 1985. The site says this was the only time her daughter was ever listed with her given birth name, Carly Roottree. Oh, so her name's not Rose, it's Carly. Carly Roottree. Hey! Bingo! There you go! Booyah indeed.
Sorry to test you, but I had to be sure you could use the internet. Some folks refuse to get with the times. Safe to say, you're hired.
What's the pay?
The reward for untangling
never
the
mind.
family tree is substantial.
Oh,
Life-changing,
nice.
even. But here's the catch.
Oh, there always is.
The root trees go way, way back. The family tree's a bit daunting. Most people freak out the first time they see the whole thing. But I'm sure you'll be fine. The man who started it was particular about whom he considered family. For your purposes, you only need his direct blood relatives.
Okay.
Anyone related only by marriage is optional. But filling them in can lead to useful discoveries.
Okay, thank you.
Lastly, you now have access to some unique websites, plus a list of notable root trees.
Okay.
Notable people are easy to find via your search engine, and marked with stars on the family tree.
Okay, that's good.
I'm off for now. Carl Roottree had a lot in his office. I'll look for anything useful. I'll return once you identify 6 more blood relatives.
Okay. Makes sense. Holy
Sorry, one last thing.
Did you
This
see
might
that?
sound odd, but if anyone else claiming to represent the Roottrees reaches out,
Oh my god. You can't see it, but up the top right hand corner right now it says, every time you get 3 additional blood relatives in the family tree completely correct, name, occupation and portrait, they will be locked in. All non-blood relatives and small portraits are optional, but placing them in the tree helps remove extra names and photos. So, what I'll do just... Now that's a family tree. Yeah. Well, okay, we can start somewhere simple. We know who this is. This must be Brenda, right? Oh, maybe not then. Because that's her mum. Was her given name White, maybe? Okay. Need 3 more blood relatives to lock them in. Okay. Okay, or maybe that's Carl Roottree. Maybe that's Carl. Because we know the mum and dad. The mum and dad is Brenda and Carl. So maybe that's Brenda White. That was her maiden name. And that would be Carl Roottree. Okay. Holy shit. Right. Family trees use surnames from birth, even if the person has changed their last name after marriage. Okay. Always use a person's most recent occupation. Okay. What's this? You can open this envelope after the whole family tree has been filled out. It has 2 names that must be typed in manually. The clues are obscure, have been intentionally hidden in the past, and may even require some leaps in logic. Try to keep an eye out for inconsistencies. Okay. Right. So, I guess we start at the top and work our way down, I guess? Well, it's actually giving me the names there. So is that Elias? Ah, but there's several Eliases, okay. And this is Gwyneth. But there's several Gwyneths. Okay. Okay, okay, oh, okay. That's a bit daunting. I don't even know where to start. Okay, let's Okay. Let's look at the information that she's given us, because she's given us another set of evidence. Frankie, get out from under there, please, buddy. Out the way. How do I... Ah, here we go. Oh, Christ. Okay. 2 seconds. No. Enough. Stop it. Now is not playtime. Go lie down. So the story so far. The Roottrees sisters and their parents died in a plane crash on December 6th, 1998. The next evening, a shadowy figure appeared at your door and said the lawyers are trying to sort it out. Okay. Quick test. So this is just the story up to now. Okay, that's fine. This is all their names. Oh Christ Almighty! Right. Okay. Notable Roottrees. Okay, so this will be. I'm guessing this is our starting point. Yeah, this could be our starting point. Okay, note that down. What's this say? This is an advertisement for 5 pieces aimed at kids from the magazine Teen Blast. It mentioned that the 5 pieces were named as such because the original creator had 5 children. The ad also mentioned that the current 5 flavors are not the same as back then. Okay. Bad blue raspberry, awesome apple, powder plum, so strawberry, cool chocolate. What is an elderberry anyway? So I'm guessing elderberry would be the flavour that got changed. I mean, that makes sense. Let's take a note of that. Let's take a note. Apple, strawberry, chocolate, raspberry, and plum. I am 100% digging the smooth jazz. Okay, that's good to know. So this is where we start then. Let's start here. Let's start with Carl Roottree, I guess. What was if I highlight it? Oh, we've got a notebook. Oh, nice. Okay, that's going to be helpful, actually. Okay, that's fine. So, can I just add a page? I can. Sweet. Okay, let's... Root tree candy. We might not even need the whiteboard. Apple, strawberry, chocolate, raspberry, and plum. One was changed from elderberry? Question mark? Question mark? Say no. Sweet. Can I edit that at any point? Oh, this. Oh, okay, we can definitely work with this. Okay, okay. Okay, sweet. Oh, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun. Okay, Carl Roottree. That's gonna be our first one then. Spider search. Can I? Ah, so that's the button there. All right. Don't know where to look next. If you're completely stuck, try talking it through with the rubber duck. That's good. I like that. Okay. Carl Roottree died in a recent plane crash along with his wife Brenda Roottree and their daughters, the Roottree sisters. He was president of the Roottree Company as well as the clothing company Roots, which he founded with his wife. There's a short press release that the Roottree Candy Company released today to news organisations. December 2nd. It is with a heavy heart that we mourn the loss of Carl, Brenda and the Roottree sisters and the other employees that perished in the terrible tragedy. The entire Roottree family is in shock and requesting privacy at this time. As the head of the company, our company, Carl was an incredible man and an unmatched leader. Filling his absence will be difficult and may take considerable time. In the interim, we hope that you join us in looking fondly back on Carl and his family's triumphs and accomplishments. They go on to list some of those accomplishments. One of them seems relevant to your search. Like his great-grandfather before him, Carl earned the highly prestigious Watchman of the Year title. Oh, okay. So can I just press highlight? Ah, hold on. Yeah, so this is Carl. Carl Roottree, okay. Him and great-grandfather won Watchman of the Year title. I don't like having the yellow, so we're gonna get rid of that. Yeah, like that. I mean, can I just can I highlight it and not have? Okay, fine, whatever. It might be worth me moving my camera just slightly up, like so. Okay, so that's interesting. So, what's public library? What's that option? I can look up books, magazine, and newspaper. Oh, okay. What about if we look up Watchman of the Year and use the keyword Carl Roottree? Or what happens if I just use the word Roottree? Okay, so nothing. Okay. Okay, so what happens then if I search for Watchman of the Year? Oh, here you go. Business Watch magazine is a magazine focused on companies, CEOs and the economy. They have been around for over 100 years in one form or the other and will often write about major changes in management of famous companies. Every year they offer an award to a prominent to a prominent businessman who has furthered the field. They call this the Watchman of the Year award. You find through a few searches 2 Roottrees that have been featured as Watchmen of the Year. Elias and Carl. We know this. So great-grandfather Elias. Business Watch does not host any online archives on any site you can find via spider search, though you may be able to find an individual article using your periodics. So let's go to the periodics. Carl Roottree. Oh, there you go. Carl Roottree was voted Watchman of the Year in 1987 for his work with Root. The cover and summary of the article have been added to your evidence. Okay. Oh, there he is. That's Carl. So if I click on this. Excellent. Okay. Carl Roottree was voted Watchman of the Year in 1987. Let's take that down as a note. 1987. So no. And a photo of him appears on the cover, which we've got. According to the cover, Business Watch is the magazine for and about corporate leaders and has ongoing coverage of who's who in the corporate world. Carl was chosen not for his work at the Roottrees Candy, but rather a clothing company, Root. Here's a brief history. Before they married, Carl's wife Brenda was a fashion consultant. When Raina was born, Brenda retired to become a stay-at-home mother. Looking for a creative outlet, she spent any free time she had at the sewing machine. Raina's new clothes were a hit with other parents, including Carl's cousin Jim Roottrees, a notable singer who had a young daughter around the same age as Raina. Word spread. Oh, okay, so that is Jim Roottrees. And he is Carl's cousin. He has a young daughter, same age as Raina. Don't know where the dog's gone. Raina. Okay. By 1982, Brenda's patterns were being copied by other brands. Seeing the demand, Carl and his second cousin Ernie Jr. Right, you know what? Let's take these notes down here. So he's got cousin Jim, second cousin Ernie Jr. What's a second cousin? Do not do that. No. Lie down. Just got me. What's a second cousin? Who had just become president of the Roottrees at the time, spearheaded Root. So he was a president of Roottrees. 1982. Yeah, what's a second cousin? Other blood relatives who have a say in the company's finances refused to fund anything other than candy, so Carl personally spent his entire inheritance to bankroll the clothing company. When the profits began to appear, however, the rest of the family changed their tune. Shocking horror. That's the way with everybody, isn't it? They repaid his investment, and now Root exists under the umbrella of the candy company, and they all benefit. It's awfully kind of him. I wouldn't have been that nice. Per tradition, or perhaps superstition, new clothes always debuted the way the first ones did. Raina became the catalogue's cover model, and as she grew, the product line expanded to older kids as well. Her younger sisters were then recruited to show off the baby clothes. Carl was voted Watchman of the Year primarily off his personal gamble and ensuing payoff. Okay. So, using that logic then, this must be him. This must be Carl. Carl Roottree. And he was president. He was the most recent president. So he'd be president. He'd be the 5th president. And this must be Brenda. So she must have, her maiden name must be Brenda White. It's the only Brenda that there is. Yeah, I'm happy with that. First cousins are your parents' siblings' kids. Second cousins are your parents' cousins or your cousins' kids, I think. Okay. I didn't even read this welcome page, by the way. Welcome to your notepad. On each page, other than this, you can jot down important information such as names, family relationship, moral status, sibling count, or anything else you'd like to remember. Tip: page titles can be renamed to make them whatever you want. Highlight any text in your web browser or evidence for the quick option to add it to your notes. The entire contents of your notepads are saved. Even if you quit the game, don't forget to check them on your return. Okay, good. Family reminders. Siblings, often referred to as brothers, sisters, parents that share the same cousin. I know that. Cousins, sometimes referred to as first cousins. People that share the same grandparents, but not the same parents. So, okay. Second cousins, sometimes referred to as distant cousins. People that share the same great grandparents, but not the same grandparents. Okay, there you go. There's my answer. Third cousins could also sometimes be referred to as distant cousins. People that share the same great-great-grandparents, but not the same great-grandparents, okay? American school terms. Key 12 stands for kindergarten 12th through to 12th grade. Okay, yeah, I knew that one. Schools produce yearbooks, which usually have albums. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Okay. Okay, so I'm happy with him. We know that this is... I wonder, hold on. If we go... We might be able to get a picture of Elias. Aha! Oh, Christ, look at this guy! I'm getting a very Irish vibe from that. Okay, so before I read into this, I'm actually going to take the picture and throw it straight in. Right. No, I don't want to speak to the duck. Okay. Elias Roottree was voted Watchman of the Year by Business Watch in 1936, and a painting of him appears on the cover. Yeah, back before cameras. The magazine says he was voted Watchman of the Year specifically to recognise the global rollout of 5 pieces. Inside the article is a timeline of 5 pieces. Okay. Oh, fucking hell, okay. 1908, Elias forms the Roottrees Candy Company after marrying his wife, who inherited a maple farm. During the period before 5 pieces, the company is barely profitable. So, we know then that he is going to be founder? Founder one? No. So he'll be president, won't he? He'll be the first president. That makes sense. That makes logical sense to me. Elias has a daughter, the first of 5 children. 4 more follow. Okay, so his first kid is a female. So this is the oldest. So can I put unknown female as an option? Yes, I can. Okay, so we know she's a female. Good. Elias invents 5 pieces. Each of his 5 flavours are chosen based on the initials of his 5 children. 1 flavour per child, so initials. Okay. Candy. Initials. Name of children. Okay, that's good information. 5 pieces are first sold in some Pittsburgh markets. 5 pieces are rolled out to all of New England. The new recipe and flavour is finalised, and the candy begins nationwide. Distributions in department stores are everywhere, but we don't find out what flavour's been changed yet. The Roottrees Candy Company purchases every available maple farm in Pennsylvania in preparations for their global rollout. With the help of his son, Elias Roottrees Jr.'s architectural firm, a new industrialized factory and warehouse are built in Butler County. So, okay, I'm going to take that as a note down. Elias, it says kids. Elias Jr. is an architect. Oldest is female. Initials are the original 5 flavors. Okay, that's good information. There's also a what's next section that claims Elias is going to pivot to ensuring his company's legacy and that the Roottree Candy Company remains a family business. He plans to do this with the Clancid Trust. Okay. What's this? Oh, Christ, okay. You've been in this line of work a long time. So long, in fact, you've developed a sixth sense for how useful your evidence can be. The numbers in the magnifying glass refer to how many clues are connected to a specific piece of evidence. Oh, okay. The higher the number, the more there's. Fine. It makes sense. At the start of your search, the notables list sets off alarm bells. A list of famous people that you can find via a search engine. It's pretty rare to get something that useful. Best take advantage of it. As you progress, these numbers will change whenever you find more evidence or lock in family members. Okay. Okay. So... right, yeah. That explains why it's like, start there. So, we're looking for these two right now. So, let's see if we can get Gwyneth. Get a picture of Gwyneth. We've got a picture of Elias now. Oh. What was that? Oh, there you go. That's Gwyneth. Okay. So can I take these photos? Okay, that's fine. So let's use those photos instead of that one. Did my dog just bark? I always worry when he's not kicking around the room. So you're Gwyneth. But we don't know your Oh, that's Gwendolyn? No. But we don't know your maiden name. Can we find... Let's try and find out your maiden name. Come on. Work with me here. There we go. Here we go. There you go. Gwyneth Anderson. You find some information on our website for the first Anderson maple farm. There are a few pictures, including a famous picture of Elias and Gwyneth, the one that we've got. Before marrying Elias, Gwyneth Rootree was Gwyneth Anderson. She had no brothers, so she was the oldest sister, so she inherited it. So that's basically them saying that's how we got the farm. Okay, so Gwyneth Anderson. Oh, that's me. Gwyneth Anderson, sweet. And it said always use their most recent occupation. So, what was she? A farmer? And we know that you are Elias Rootree. Well, one of them has... So she's not a farmer. Because otherwise it would click. So maybe a stay-at-home mum? Is that an option? No. What are her options? Housewife. Maybe she was a housewife. I wonder if it tells us anything about her. As a housewife. So is she a housewife then? Hey! Bingo! And we got Brenda right as well. Excellent! So, can I then put that picture in there? I can't. Okay, good. Right. Okay. I'll give you a wee pat off. There you go, okay. There you go. Oh, you're soaking wet. Right. Okay, we've started somewhere. So we know that they've got a son named Elias Jr., who's an architect. We know that it's not her. Okay. So let's work our way down this list. I think that's the smart thing to do. Okay, Gwyn Rootree. Let's do you next. Oh, we've got a picture of her. Start with a picture. No comment. Right. You find some information on a website about old films that are not yet available in VHF. That are not available in yet on VHS. Fucking hell. Steal the bag, buddy. Ah, hey, leave it. Leave it. The site is not very well organised and your search is broken, but you can get to individual pages from your search engine. Gwyn Rootree is a somewhat well-known actress who was active in the 1950s. She often appeared in tabloids, especially around the time of her highly publicised divorce. So she got a divorce. Her biggest role was in the minor hit movie Guys Like Us. She left Hollywood after the flop of Christmas Mission. There's a widely circulated picture of Gwyn from behind the scenes of one of her movies, which you have added to evidence. Did you know that Gwyn was the granddaughter of Elias Rootree, founder of the Rootree Company? She shouldn't have been named Rootree, but her father took her mother's famous name, which is quite rare in those days. So she's not on this list. She's not there. She's a granddaughter. She's on this line. But she gets a divorce. Because that's daughters, that's granddaughters. Did it say great-granddaughter or granddaughter? Granddaughter. So she's on this, like, just somewhere along here. So it could be there. That could be her there. It's the only person on that line that splits up with somebody. Yeah, that'll have to be her. This will have to be Gwyn. Gwyn Rootree. That has to be her. And she was an actress, wasn't she? An actor. Because that's the only one that makes sense. Because then she splits up. Makes sense to me. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense to me. She shouldn't have been named Roottree, but her father took her mother's famous name. So that will be a female. That'll be a male. Because they've got married, and she's the famous one. She'll be the one with the Roottree name. There you go. Okay, that seems simple enough. Yep, that seems simple enough. It would be nice if we could find out who she married. But let's go to our next notable. Red Roottree. You find information on a website about strange historical facts. Alois Herring Roottree, aka Red, was an appointed judge and politician who earned his nickname ironically because he was the ambassador for Ireland for only about 6 days. Okay. He served what some people contended the shortest term in history. After a few days he was appointed, he was heard disparaging his position and the Irish people, so he's just being a dick. He then tried to run for state senate. He claimed to be related to the Roottree Candy Company in a newspaper ad, but it came out that the last name was merely a coincidence and he was defeated in a landslide. So he's a red herring. I get it. I get it, game. Okay. Okay. So he's, yeah, a red herring. Okay. Jim Roottree. Now we know that he is the cousin . So that's his dad, that's his granddad. So he'll be along here somewhere. Because they share the same they share the same grandparents, but not the same parents. So Jim will be somewhere along here. So where was I? James Roottree, so his name's James Roottree, okay? Gotta remember that. So Jim is James. James Roottree is a singer who sings in the duo Jim and Diamond with his wife Diamond LaRue. That's good to know. Okay, hold on. Wife is Diamond LaRue. James is Jim. It's nice having a wee notepad. The duo, according to many sources you find, is considered a one-hit wonder due to their disco song Rolling On Down to the City. It's now in your evidence folder. Oh, cool. Although Jim writes the majority of the songs, plays the guitar, and often sings, Diamond is considered by fans to be the band's lead singer. The band never had another hit, but it has its fans who refer to themselves as Diamond Dazzlers. That just sounds... I feel dirty. No. No, that doesn't feel right. The rest of their music is more folksy and acoustic than the one song they're known for. Jim and Diamond have continued to release their music through the 80s and early 90s. Other albums you find mentioned are Cherry Tree and Sound of Laughter. Jim has become a bit of a recluse and hasn't made a public appearance since 1996. Okay. Oh Christ! Whoa! So that'll be James, and that'll be Diamond LaRue. Oh! Look at that. Oh, I just nearly bit my own tongue off. Rolling On Down to the City was barely a top 20 hit for a few weeks in 1979. According to the liner notes, it satirizes how a part of society was content to remain indifferent to the economic inflation and civil unrest in the Middle East, unless pop culture tricked them into caring. Somewhat ironically, listeners didn't seem to pay attention to the lyrics enough to trick them into caring. Instead, most of its play comes from roller discos. Okay. Because it was such a product of its time, it doesn't get much play anymore, even on stations that play oldies. Maybe that's why you've never heard of it before now. This image is from an auction for a sealed copy. It has a sticker that says, only the great-grandson of Elias Rootree could make disco this sweet. It is credited to Peter Yanovitz from MMN. Music and lyrics by Jim Rootree. Vocals by Jim and Diamond LaRue. Jim is on the notable Rootrees list. Your evidence. He'll be marked on the chart with a star. The lyrics for the song contain no clues. Oh, okay. So I don't have to read the lyrics. Thank God for that. Please tell me this plays it. Oh my God.
Saturday night and you're quite a sight. The world might be burning, but I'm feeling right. Making ends meet, so they're in town. We can't afford gas, so we skate in the streets. Guys all rush to say that I'm pretty. Ladies blush and find me so witty. They're out of luck tonight, what a pity. We're rolling, rolling, rolling on down to the city.
Oh my God, that's brilliant. So, daughter, granddaughter, great. So he's a great granddaughter. He's his cousin. He's a notable. So there's got to be a star. There. Is that the only one? Yep. So that's got to be James.
On wheels we glide with you by my side.
James Rootree. That is Diamond LaRue. He's a singer. Artist.
Guys all rush to say that I'm pretty. Ladies blush and find me so witty. They're out of luck.
Or singer, maybe one. Nope. Let's just make sure that we're happy with artist, because it might not mean music artist, it might mean paint or decorator. Musician. Musician feels better. Yeah, musician feels better. Fucking hell, I was not ready for that.
Politicians at large are hopeless. The bankers in charge are all clowns. The parties sell better than protest. So signs up while we boogie down, 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 down. Guys all rush. Ladies blush and find me so witty. They're out of luck tonight, what a pity. We're rolling, rolling, rolling on down to the city.
I can't even. Oh, I was so not ready for that. Needless to say, that'll not be getting put onto my driving playlist. Okay, Lauren Rootree. Oh, Christ. Author Lauren Rootree. So she's an author, okay. A distant relative of the Rootree sisters, known for her book, A Life Between Wars. According to a website about famous authors in the 1960s, Lauren released a few romance novels under her married name, Lauren Rafferty. So when she gets married, so she marries a Rafferty, okay, to little fanfare. When her publisher learned she had been keeping diaries about her famous family, they insisted she release them under her original name, Lauren Roottree, to take advantage of the family's notoriety. The selection of the diary entry released in 1965, A Life Between Wars, spans from the untimely death of her husband in World War II to coping with a post-war as a young widow and a mother, as well as her perspectives on changing times in society all the way through to the entry into Vietnam. While the content is not considered particularly relevant to modern audiences, it has found a new life as an exercise in high school English classes to show an evolution in writing style and for a look into perspective of previous generations. After the success of her diaries, our publisher re-released her novels under the name Lauren Roottree. This includes Romance and Court, which gained popularity. She followed the re-release by writing 2 new sequels, creating what fans refer to as the Court Jester series. You find no recent details about Lauren, although she's listed as retired. Okay. So, if I do this, copy, public library, I go Lauren Roottree. There you go. Oh Christ, we're getting lots of things printed out. Oh Christ, the printers are going hard at work. Calm down, printer. Right. So this must be... That must be Lauren Roottree. So, what do we know about her? A distant relative of the Roottree sisters. Okay. So does that mean she's going to be... No. Where's the other stars? It must be there then. That is the only other star. Oh no, I've got one there as well. I've got one there. Okay. That doesn't tell me a lot of information. Does it? Oh, Christ almighty. Okay. She was the granddaughter of Elias and Gwyneth on her father's side. So it'll be this line here. So that doesn't help us anything at all, because they're still in the same line. Okay. Her mother's family was called the Cozzles, but she hardly ever mentioned them. Her father, who she always referred to as Pop, was a head lawyer. Okay. Huh. Okay. And her husband was Jacob Rafferty. So I'm going to try... I'm going to say that this is them. Let's go here. So this Jacob Rafferty. This is... What was it? I've even lost track of her name now. Lauren. Lauren Roottree. A wee fly just came in. What was her... She only ever had one child. So that looks right, doesn't it? She only had one child. She never remarried either. Okay. I'm happy with that. We need to find out what her occupation was. Looks like she's a stay-at-home mum. So, housewife? Can't be, unless we've got something else wrong. Because we've got three people filled in. Okay, let's read this properly then. Let's... And maybe then we're going to have to look into these as well. Oh God, okay, this is now... Now it's starting to get difficult. Now we're starting to... So, we've read about this. Her husband Jacob dies in the final moments of World War II when she was pregnant. Her son's called Clark. So we know what her son's called as well. So if we use that logic, this must be Clark. Clark Rafferty? We don't have a Clark Roottree? Huh. Unless, of course, she's over there, and this is Clark Rafferty. Let's go through the diaries. She was the granddaughter of Elias and Gwyneth on her father's side. That's fine. Her mother's family was called the Cozzles, but she hardly ever mentions them. So maybe her name's not Lauren Roottree. Maybe it's Cozzle. No, it's not. That would mean that would be a Cozzle. Or maybe this will be a Cozzle. Is that a woman? Sarah Cozzle. That could be there then. Her father, who she always referred to as Pop, was the head lawyer of the Roottrees Company. Okay, so he's a lawyer. So this guy must be a lawyer. Lawyer. Okay, we're making the assumption that this person goes here and not here. It's a big assumption, I know, but... So is that then, hold on, is this is the 5 pieces, so this is the first generation of children by Gwyneth and Elias. Lauren's father was in that generation. So Lauren's father's in this picture. Okay, that gives me a bit more information. The next generation, Lauren's generation. So this is Lauren's generation. So she's somewhere in here. She's somewhere in here. Okay. And her father is one of these 5. This is the original kids, isn't it? So that's the original 5 kids. So that is the images we're going to need for these. Okay. Let's see what more information we can garner from this. The entry entitled Complaints from Lauren Roottrees' Diary, written in 1953. This entry seems to be focused specifically on one of Lauren's family members, Gwen, who is a notable Roottree, which we've put down here, haven't we? So she would be a cousin. It seems everyone has something to complain about. Gwen, as an only child, complained of Oh, so she's an only child. Yep, that checks out. I told her that being expected to watch after 3 younger brothers didn't feel like a blessing, but it fell on deaf ears. 3 younger brothers. Yeah. This is right. This is definitely her. Okay, that's good. Okay. During the summer, where I went to stay with Aunt Margot. Okay, I hope she would be the sister I never had, and that I'd do the same for her. I even tried to dye my hair blonde to fit in with the 2 of them. What a mess. But she just complained. To her, I was the lucky cousin. Okay. Now she's off living the glamorous life while I'm stuck here with Clark. I must admit, seeing her everywhere contributes to my unhappiness. Her visage stares at me even now from my coffee table. She gets to be in Starlet and tell tales of how she gallivants around the world, kissing the likes of Harrison Lane and Wild Bill Williams. She's the first Roottree woman to be anything other than a housewife. So she's a housewife then. We put that down though. Yeah. So any of the other females before this time, before her, are housewives. Okay. And I am jealous. If I were not a single mum, could I make my own way in this world? But I'm off topic. A girl with all luck in the world was jealous of me, and now, though I have been undoubtedly burdened by terrible tragedy, I'm also lucky to be born into a family that can support me for eternity. I can raise my child without worry, unlike countless other widows. If any of them were to hear me complaining, they would rightfully scoff, just like I do at Gwen. Okay, so that looks right to me. You and you look right. I wonder if it's not like in that picture then. So she's in. Hold on, she's in this picture. That's her there, isn't it? You can tell by the curls in the hair. You can tell by the curls in the hair. Okay, let's try and get some more information, because it seems like we've maybe misplaced somebody, because we've got 3 people put in. We don't know who she marries. That seemed right. Okay. It focuses on our grandfather. Elias announced he would step down from the present company and how to determine a successor. I wish I had been a fly on the wall today. Clancy told me that everyone got quite heated. Grandad was furious none of his sons would take over as president. That's what he gets for holding on to it so long. With architects, preachers and lawyers, nobody's got time for candy. So with the 5 pieces refusing to step up, it comes down to us next gens. Pop argued at length that the company should stay with our branch of the family since we still have the Roottree name. I'm not even sure Clancy would have wanted it, but he's the one who was volunteered. Instead, it ended up going to Zach. Even though his surname doesn't match the candy, he's the firstborn son. He's the firstborn son of the firstborn 5-piece. Okay, I'm not sure how that's relevant to running a company, but Grandad has always been particular about views when it comes to bloodline. So Zach doesn't have the same name. So this will be Zach. Oh, there's 2 of them. Okay, so that's going to be an unknown male, but that's going to be Zach. I asked Clancy if it ever came up that a woman could take over. After all, Angie's older than Zach. And I'm the oldest of us all, but he just laughed. I'll never forget the cuss words Pop used when he told Ma it wouldn't go back to us. Mother, ever quick-witted, at least with catty remarks, and countered with, maybe they wanted it to go to the only member of the family who looks like he samples the product. Okay, so hold on then. Do we have any... We've got a picture. That could be Zach. That could be Zach. Okay. I'm getting very Obra-din vibes from this game. It's a different kind of puzzling. An entry entitled Sam from Lauren Roottrees' diary. Written From a previous entry, you learn that Elias Roottree had given in to his wife and announced that Sam, an obscure relative, was to be included in family gatherings. Gwyneth had been pushed to include Sam for quite some time. Lauren writes, okay. Why Sam? I've many distant relatives I've never met. After all, Granny had sisters and Grandad had a brother or 2. But I was told, trim their branches from the family tree. So why is Sam special? Nothing adds up. And I'm not the only one to realise. Angie summoned all the next gens to a secret meeting in Zach's office. Gwen's in Paris, but the rest of us, including Miracle's boys, spent ages trying to unravel the mystery. I didn't recognise Sam at Uncle Junior's wedding to Patsy last year, and at the reception, when I asked who Sam was, Pop shushed me and said it was complicated. Oh Christ, okay. Clancy swore he saw Sam working alongside the farmhands, EC and John, when he used to drive past the old Anderson farm on his way to work. Upon hearing that, Zach checked the records and managed to confirm all 3 of these are in the books. Eli, Miracle's youngest, not my brother, even chimed in. Apparently, when he was riding his mini bike alongside the farm a few weeks ago, Sam gave him some old tools and taught him how to make the bike's engine faster. None of us think that proper for a multitude of reasons, but Eli certainly seems thrilled. At the end of the day, nothing explains why an outsider has cozied into family affairs, especially one who works on a farm of all places. Whatever happened to the blood is thicker than syrup? Why is my granddad making an exception now? Huh. That's suspicious, isn't it? Clark, so this is her son. Clark is getting married, and in my opinion, far too young. He's barely 18, for God's sake. And Danielle is not much older, but apparently confronting them would make me a hypocrite. After all, Jacob and I got married at 16. We know this. This is Jacob here. This is Jacob. So her son's Clark gets married to a lassie called Danielle. Clark, like the rest of his generation, is a free spirit, What else do you call a group of kids growing up with more money than any one person can spend? They aspire to be musicians and artists and dancers and all sorts of nonsense. The only one who has any discipline is Carl. But that's because Pop forced Clancy to send him to the academy. Okay. Maybe I'm just getting older. Maybe I'm just getting old, but our generation was never so bad. My brother seemed to pursue paths of knowledge, and the most rebellious thing any of us ever did was bring someone who would be illegal to marry if we lived anywhere south of Pennsylvania. Okay, I don't really know what that means. Pop seems to have gotten over it because Edward is set to take over his department once he retires. As for me, my first published book, Swashbuckle My Heart. Oh, wait a minute. She's not a housewife. She's an a writer. She sells books. Architecture, artist, author. She's an author. There you go. Yes. Cause Alcera's right, LaRue Diamond's right, Rafferty Jacobs right. Hey. Oh, we are cooking.
You're on a roll.
Thank you.
I'll try to keep that momentum going. Carl's office was a mess, thanks to some burst pipes. But I unearthed a photo from a 1970s Roottrees reunion. I also found some important-looking papers. You've traced 9 blood relatives so far. I'll have more to share after you find 9 more.
Hey. So, one thing I learnt to do with the Obra-din is once things get locked in, go through it, and if you've got anybody's names written up that haven't clicked, like these ones, remove them. But it doesn't look like we do. No, we don't. Okay. That's fine. Right. Let's keep going a little bit longer. Let's see if we can get 3 more in, and then we can call the stream to an end tonight. Because it looks like tomorrow, if we stream this, we might be able to make a big dent in this. Okay. Oh, we want to put that picture in. Just to keep it tidied away and not get confused. Okay. So, there was one more Roottrees. Miracle. Miracle Jr. Which means, hold on. That has to be this guy. This has to be Miracle Jr. Miracle Jr. Which means this will have to be... Well, one of these two will have to be Miracle. Because, you know, it's not going to be somebody way over there. Okay, let's see if we can find out a bit about Miracle Jr. Miracle Jr. doesn't go by his full name in promotional materials. Instead, it has been shortened to Miracle Jr. Okay, Miracle Jr. is a televangelist who is part of the Miracle Network. What's a televangelist? He used to have a show that aired on local access across many stations in northeastern United States. According to a website called Clergy Watch, he was exposed and subsequently charged with conspiracy to defraud the public in 1979 when he claimed to heal somebody in a wheelchair. A news expose revealed it was his wife Edith's sister in disguise. The author also mentions that Edith had a bit of a checkered past herself, but doesn't go into clarify. He has since lost his television show and instead goes on tour across the southern United States, where he is not well known before the scandal. What's a televangelist? Is that a preach? Is that like a priest? A priest? And we know that he's going to be a next generation, so we know that he's going to be somewhere in this picture. So, aha, here you go. Oh Christ, okay. You find a website for the Miracle Network, a production company run by the Miracle Roottrees Estate. It's quite bare bones, but it has the following blurb. Witness the testimonies of the Miracle's Roottree. The Miracle Roottree arrived so late in his mother's life that the doctors swore he wouldn't survive his first year. His mother and father, Elias and Gwyneth, named him Miracle because they thought him impossible. So that must mean that this is Miracle. Okay. And we've got a picture for him, because this is the original ones, isn't it? The original 5 pieces. Yeah, so this must be Miracle then. He's the youngest by quite some margin. Yeah, that's got to be Miracle. Okay. With a birth that late, the final child of his generation was nearly torn apart by countless health problems, but still, with the power of God on his side, he persevered. He triumphed over these complications and even regained his sight to spread the healing word of the Almighty. 23 years later, Miracle Roottree Jr. arrived and became the famous family's second vessel for higher power. At 18, he unburdened himself from the Roottree name and took his father's testimony to a whole new level. Via the power of television, Miracle Jr. spread the gospel across the entire of New England. He has since left the life of glamour and glitz behind to reach those places that is needed most. So where is... There it is. Huh. So that must be Miracle Jr. So he's a preacher. Is that an option? Or priest, maybe? Preacher, yeah. And it says his father's testimony, so his father must have been a preacher as well. Yeah. Okay. Which means we can deduce that's him there. So we can pop... you can't do them just yet, but that's where they'll go. We've got 2 other pictures of him. Here. Children now welcome. Celebrate with your pastor, Miracle III, and his wife, Nicole. Oh, wait a minute. So that's not... Is there another Miracle? Miracle III. Yeah. So that's him. Does that make him a preacher as well? Oh, hey, we're cooking. Yeah. cooking. Happy days. His wife Nicole. Is there any? So he's. There's two Nicoles, so we can't really work that out just now. Okay, so we've done all of the notable root trees now. Yeah, we've done all of the notable ones. So now things start getting tricky. It's good that we figured out one of the 5 pieces. Pop even had it framed. That's him on the left. That's Pop. So hold on, that is you. Yeah. Question is, what's Pop's name? Is it mentioned anywhere in here? We know he's a lawyer. Maybe if we search up the Clancy Trust, it'll say who writ it, and we know that this is going to be Pop. Clancy Edward Roottree. Okay, so that must be Clancy. That makes sense to me. Let's read about the Clancy. The Clancy Trust is a highly unusual corporate arrangement named after Clancy Edward Roottree, who was Elias's son and the Roottree Company's head lawyer at the time. Due to its unique nature, it is often brought up in online discussions about financial matters and inheritances as an oddity. The company mandates that a fixed percentage of its profits are split evenly amongst bank accounts representing each direct blood relative of Elias and Gwyneth. The account is to be created for each blood relative at birth and first accessible when they reach 18. The actual numbers have never been fully disclosed to the public, but due to the ever-increasing success of the company, it is a significant amount of money. The Clancy Trust is known for being essentially impossible to get around due to too many checks and balances written into it. Still, there have been a few situations in which the family members have tried to forcibly remove another member from the trust. Most details online are pretty vague since the matters are handled internally. The only information you discover is of a university law school which apparently had a guest lecture talk about the Roottrees versus RR. While looking into the Clancy Trust, you often find mention to the 5-piece guarantee, which went into effect at the same time. So what's that? The 5-piece guarantee, in combination with the Clancy Trust, was Elias Roottree's attempt to ensure the Roottree Company would remain a family business for eternity. In isolation, it's somewhat baffling. The yearly salary of Roottree's president is always locked to the price of a single pack of 5 pieces. When the 5-piece guarantee went into effect, this was 25 cents a year. Now it's close to $4. Combined with the Clancy Trust, however, it makes a bit more sense. Elias wanted to ensure that only his direct relatives could afford to be president, and he knew that because their passive income was tied to the profits of the company, they would have a vested interest in keeping the company as profitable and successful as possible. Whether or not this was a smart or successful decision is widely debated online, both online and in person, by economic enthusiasts of all levels. Oh, I did a wee I need to have a wee drink. Oh. Oh, that caught the back of my throat there. Okay. Doesn't give me much to go on. Okay. Right. Let's think for a second. This photo has a note attached from your employer. Here's the bonus. When I pulled the water damaged picture of the three spots frame, this fell out too. Written on the back is a photo. Couldn't make the reunion. Wishing you all from well, Gwyn and the boys. So this is Gwyn. This is her. She's got two boys. These two. I'm not going to take the pictures because I want to bulk it up and then try and figure out who's who. Yep, that's right. So that looks about right. She's got two boys. That looks about right. Okay. This photo was tucked inside the envelope with a letter beneath the can. Okay. The letter says, "To Carl and Brenda, I'm sorry you were unable to attend the funeral." So Carl and Brenda. So these two. Okay. It's tradition to have it as soon as possible, and Ernie, more than anyone else on earth, knew how busy your job can be. I've enclosed a Shiva candle identical to ours if you'd like to pay your respects, though it's not expected for those outside the faith to do so. Ernie was a man of love, not only for his family. Frankie? Buddy, what are you doing? Get away. Out the way. Move your butt. Move your... Get. Ernie was a man full of love, not only for his family, but for his family's legacy. He had an immense amount of pride for the work you three did together, as well as how Carl carried on for him after taking over. As for myself, it is impossible to express my gratitude enough for rescuing us from the panic and burden of endless bills, though we caught it too late for him to get on the donor list. The company took care of us beyond our wildest expectations, and it went unsaid at the time, but Ernie and I knew it had to have been Carl that convinced the trust, and that it was no coincidence that it happened shortly after your visit, Brenda. Up until the end, Ernie and I had to stay strong, especially for Nicole's sake. We could never have done that without the two of you fighting for us. Much love, Debbie. So this must be Debbie, this must be Nicole. And Ernie must be who she married, but that's not giving us a lot of information either. Because that could be anyone along this list. Okay. Okay. What's this? Vote for Stephanie Jones for City Council. Better for the Butler County. Okay. This was buried under a ton of mail that Carl left in his inbox. It had a handwritten note attached that seemed personal. It's a flyer about a candidate for local office, Stephanie Jones. On the back, is an excerpt from a newspaper article from the Butler County Times about her campaign. Stephanie may have grown up in an unconventional family, to say the least, but in her words, it was full of love. Now, 22 years later, with a baby of her own due around Christmas, her message for voters is simple: love is the future. A handwritten note says, Carl, I know we don't see eye to eye when it comes to the candy company, but if you could talk to your girls about putting out a statement supporting Stephanie, she could really use publicity from your daughter's bring. Don't let her conflict spread to the next generation. CM. Okay. We're getting a lot of information thrown at us. So is there any family tree that looks a bit different there? That. So I'm going to make a big leap. Okay, so we don't know what her maiden name is. Can we Google her? Or spider search her, sorry. The election results that Stephanie Jones, a candidate for City Council, won her campaign on election day about a month ago. No mention of the Roottrees in any of the articles about her. Stephanie also has a very bare bones website for her campaign. It is simply a picture of her campaign mailer, and underneath it says, be sure to read the full article in the Butler County Times. Okay, hold on. Aha! Butler County is located outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, while the Roottrees Candy Company now has its headquarters in the city. The company began on a small farm with the Butler County limits and the area of local history. The Butler County Times is presumably a local paper there. Okay. As a side note, a video game called The Roottrees Are Dead was once set in Butler County, and it turns out the creator never lived in or near. What will happen if I spider search this? The Roottrees Are Dead, not to be confused with a similar game called the Roottrees Are Dead, is a video game about a fictional family called the Roottrees and about discovering their lineage after the Roottrees sisters are killed in a plane crash. Fourth wall break. The game takes place in Butler County, which is a real county in Pennsylvania, but uses fictional elements such as a fake newspaper called the Butler County Times. The creator of the game does not know anyone who lives in Butler County and has never been there. Instead, he just randomly picked somewhere on the map near a major metropolitan area that sounded reasonable and hoped not to somehow accidentally offend the people who actually lived there. Oh, please tell me he's set this up. The Roottrees are, you're really doing this, are you? Nice. Very good. Roottrees Are Dead is a game about a fictional family of ducks who lived in the Duckler County. Their three sons, the Fluckney brothers, accidentally offended of which who turns them into bread. They are then eaten by some of the other citizens of Duckler County. It's all quite grim. The player must identify all the ducks in the area, their lineage, and the corpse of their occupation. To find out, according to the slogan, which duck killed the Loonies. If you're looking for a hint for that game, I heard one of the ducks is a bank robber who goes by the name the Safe Quacker. There, I hope you're happy. Now go back to looking into the Roottrees. Oh, please. Ah, no. That's good. That's good. Well done, guy. Well done. Yeah, well done. So do I now have in periodics? I do. So if I do you and I do... What was her name? What was her name again? Stephanie Jones. Aha! Aha! Born Stephanie London. There you go. There you go. And she was a politician by the looks of it. Politics. Hey! Sweet. So we think we've got 2, so let's try and get 1 more. Stephanie grew up in a home without a father. So that's what that's going to be. Okay. Her mother, Carolyn, a local artist. Oh, okay. So her mother's Carolyn. Business owner Brian Jones. So she marries Brian Jones. Brian Jones, and I'm guessing that's him. Okay. So, is her name... Oh no. There's only one Carlin. Caroline. Okay. We don't have enough information to start going down that rabbit hole. Okay, that's... Well, we know who that is. We know who that is. This is the Free Spirits. So, Free Spirits is this generation. So that'll be him. Unless it's him. Okay. Right. So that gave us something. We've done these. We know she's got boys, but we're not really sure who they are. We need to get one more. We need to get a picture of Clark. Right, so. Swashbuckle my heart. Okay, that doesn't really tell me much. Clark Rafferty. Let's see. Oh! Ah! A few fan sites for the band Jim and the Diamond seem to mention that he used to make music with Clark Rafferty. They mention an album called These Times. A band called C&J and J&D released one single these times. So if that's Clark, who's that? So these two did a thing together, did they? Someone with username XXXDieHardDazzlerXXX scanned the cover and noted that it cost him over $200 at an auction. Apparently this was Jim Roottree and Diamond LaRue's first song together. He also mentions that it was performed with Jim's cousin and Diamond's sister, and that it was only somewhat similar to Jim and Diamond's later work. Sister. Diamond's got a sister. Is there another LaRue? There's two more LaRues. Okay. After a blazing 35-minute download, the track is also available. Oh god, not another song. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god.
Life is life, love shall be. Me for you and you for me. Someday will come, though, that this tree will be the last of what was we. With passing years,
Right. Okay. These Times is an old single from a folk group C and J and J and D. You have a scan of the album as well as a recording from the track title, the character, blah, blah, blah. The website is also listed music by Clark Rafferty and Jim Roottree. Backup vocals by the LaRues. On it is a sticker saying folk style songwriting catchy MMM magazine. That's Clark. The C and J. So this will be whoever J is. So is there a J LaRue? LaRue. Jane LaRue. So he must be a musician. That must be him. But it's not clicked. Ah, that's going to be a problem. Using my logic though, that can't be Jane. So we can't attach a picture to it. That must be Jane. So that must be him. And that must be her. Why is it? Unless he's got a different. Unless he got a different job afterwards. See if I can do this. Nah. Oh. Okay. Right, okay. Well, guys, I'm actually going to wrap this up now. I'm going to call it a day for the stream. My brain's hurting a wee bit. We've started off quite strong, I think, to be fair. We've got 12 people done. We're already a third of the way there, basically. Yeah, I'm going to call the stream at the end now.